Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning into the channel. So I just want to give you guys a little tip. As you can see, I'm out here with the 570 with the hose and some Simple Green. And that's because I just changed all the fluids on this machine. First time I've ever changed all the fluids on a Can-Am Renegade, and let me tell you, not a fun job. It didn't take long. I would say 2 hours. I was done with all the fluids, but the mess it makes, my God. I had it in the garage with the pan under the oil for whichever, rear diff, tranny, engine, front diff, which I was draining. The fluids just continually pour out of the bottom of the unit because it's just everything you drain, it runs all over the frame. There's just no way around it. So I'll show you. Well, I got the plastic cover off. I wanted to show you this on the side of the engine, but I'll start here on the rear diff. So in the instruction manual, in the owner's manual, I should say, I couldn't even find where the rear diff drain fluid is. I'm looking at the bottom of the diff, assuming it'd be there. And it's actually this tiny little, I don't know if you can see it, tiny little inset screw there that when it's in, it says flush with the casing of the rear diff. That's it. It's like a 5mm Allen. And then you have the fill, 6mm Allen. So that's that. So when you drain it, it just runs out, trickles out slowly, pours out all over the metal skid plate underneath, and pours out all over the place. So once that's fully drained, you put that in, fill it up, and you wipe it up best you can, and you move up to the tranny and the engine. It's still, for a day and a half, was leaking out on the garage floors. I got to clean up that mess next. But so just keep a bunch of rags underneath the machine until you get it out and hose it off. And then transmission's another pain in the neck. There's the fill, that white plastic plug right here. So that's the fill. Let's give you guys a... and then the drain is under this, is under the electronic control module for the transmission. That is right there. Right there. So you drain it, and of course it pours out all over the place. There's a little spot under here, but it doesn't all make it out, and it just runs all over. So that's nice too. Another mess. The engine, then you move up to the engine. Obviously you have your fill in the check, and then oil filters right here. That's not so bad once I drained it all. And you take that off. A little oil does spill and run down past the water pump and all that stuff. And of course that gets into the skid plate, and then that mixes up with everything else, and you have a big soupy mess under there. But the drain for the oil is right there. You see a little white mark on it. That's from the factory. So you take that out. There is a hole underneath. Most of the oil does make it through the hole, but you get a little bit on the skid plate as well. Then we move up to the front diff. Front diff was actually the best one. You got your fill right there, and the drain, like a normal differential. I don't know why they didn't do this in the rear, but it's actually underneath. You see the hole right there, right here. And then if you go up, 5mm Allen again on that one, and 6mm Allen for the fill. So you need for this whole job 4mm Allen, 6mm Allen. The T-handles will work nice on the drains because you can't get the ones that are on the socket heads in there. It's just too tight a clearance in the rear diff. So 6mm for the fills and 5 for the drains. And then for the engine drain, I think it was a 12mm. It was a 12 or 13mm for the engine. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so that was that. So now I'm out here hosing it down, Simple Green and everything. What a mess. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out to you guys. This is a black cover that goes here. So you don't see the tranny, fill, and the drain and the engine drain plugs with the cover on. But with it off, I got a little cleaned up now. It was covered in oil. But let's give you guys a little tip on that. Be prepared. If you haven't changed the fluids on a Renegade yet, it's going to be messy. So you're going to need a pump. Get one of those pumps that go into the bottle. Let me show you. Actually, I have one. So this will make the job a lot easier. This just goes in the bottle for your gear oil. And then you have the hose. You can stick it in your fill. For the tranny particularly, you're going to need it. As you can't really get to that fill screw with anything else. And then as you can see, the fluid's purple. You'll give you one guess as to which fluid I used for the diffs. But right there, it's royal purple. So 7590 for the front diff. And rear diff and transmission gets 75, 140. All right. And then for the engine oil, I just used the Amsoil 550. It gets quite hot here in Arizona, and that thing runs hot as hell anyway, as anybody with a Renegade knows. We don't really have cold, freezing weather climates. So that is it, guys. Just wanted to give you a little quick pointer on that. Hopefully you guys can learn from that and have less of a mess in your garage than I did, because now I got to go clean the oil all over the garage floor. But just put down some rags. If you have like an old towel or something, even lay it down under the whole machine. This way, like I said, as you're moving on from the rear diff to the transmission and the front diff, and the oil's still kind of leaking out of the skid plate, you can catch it for the most part with a rag, and then pull the machine out while that cover's still off on the side. Simple green. You know, it's just a mild degreaser. Let it sit, hose it all off, get the skid plate good and clean so it's not continually dripping in your garage. But that's it. We will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.